We all know that feeling. You take a quick break at 2 p.m. and before you know it, it's 2 a.m. You have done absolutely nothing of merit in the past 10 hours and you just start feeling angry and guilty, mad at yourself for wasting your own valuable time. You know that you had things to do, and for some reason you just chose not to do it. You start procrastinating your work, saying just one more video. You are never ahead of your assignments and you constantly decide to give yourself phone breaks when, frankly, you don't need one. And you can't even make time for the things you want to do because you are so caught up in the nonsense on this little rectangle that rules your life. One day, out of nowhere, I decided I had had enough. And with the incoming new year, I wanted to challenge myself to a whole month of no scrolling. Now, to begin this challenge, I had to decide what it meant to not scroll. Should I delete social media? Should I not go on my phone? Can I still watch videos my friends send me? I had to make strict guidelines on what I meant by not scrolling. I think we can obviously define scrolling as like short form content on an endless feed. So my whole goal was to just entirely not subject myself to an endless feed of short form content. No scrolling. So yes, I could still watch videos my friends send me if I just watch the individual video. Yes, I can still go on Instagram and see my friend's story. However, watching Reels and TikToks and, God forbid, YouTube Shorts. Just kidding, YouTube. That was a joke. That was a joke. I could just delete the apps themselves, but I knew the minute that this challenge was over, I would download Instagram just like that. I would re-download basically every app, except I did delete TikTok. TikTok, that whole app's point is short form content. There is no reason for me to keep that, even beyond this challenge. Like, knowing what I know now, I don't even know why it took me so long to delete it. In an effort to set up a few extra bumpers, I have this app called ScreenZen that I actually used before the challenge, and essentially it's just like any other time restriction, but it's really cool because it makes you wait a certain number of seconds before you can open the app, and it can flash a custom message. I just have mine saying, "Is it this important?" I think is what it says. That was just what it came with, but you can choose a bunch. And then also you can choose how long it lets you in the app and what apps are limited. And it's also free. The one that Apple has is fine, but it doesn't work great if you know your password and you set it up. However, I do actually have both on my phone. Yeah. Now, it is a little awkward when I want to pull up something on Instagram and it takes 10 seconds for my phone to unlock it, but honestly, the pros outweigh the cons. I can wait 10 embarrassing seconds, and then also it tends to open up another conversation about, me in this 30-day challenge or phone addictions. Very fruitful conversations. Another feature ScreenZen has is it tells you how many times you've opened the app that day, and sometimes when I just look at that, I feel really sad and I don't open the app. If you do nothing else to curb your addiction, download ScreenZen. Like, this is not sponsored. Like, I just literally cannot recommend this app enough. So with these rules set in place, I could still watch my friends' videos and on occasion scroll through Pinterest or like my just normal Instagram feed, not the Reels. I didn't really do this very much because I didn't find this to be as entertaining as short form content, as bad as that sounds. So I probably did it for a total of like 30 minutes throughout the entire challenge. Like, I'm not even joking. Especially for Pinterest. Like, I love Pinterest, but I only go on it when I specifically need something. And Instagram, I was just trying to like get the satisfaction that I wanted, and when I couldn't get it, I just moved on, usually. However, this doesn't exclude mobile games or YouTube videos, full-length YouTube videos, movies, TV shows, anything like that. So I was totally, all of that was up for grabs. I think I could break down the 30 days into 4 periods. First being day 1 through 3. I'm gonna honestly call this the rough. Like, this was so difficult. I kept getting the worst headaches, and I'm pretty sure it was probably due to like my brain not getting enough dopamine or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. This is Cameron science. Like, that's probably not true, but it low-key might be, because like, honestly, I can't, like, it literally felt like my head was going to explode. Especially like day 2, day 3. I was so done. And it wasn't even like I wanted to get back on my phone. Like I did a little bit, but like it's just like my head hurt. Like I just really wanted to bang my head against a wall pretty much. But it was a lot of trying to find substitutes. And also part of that is due to the fact that I didn't ease into the challenge. In fact, on the 31st of December, I knew I was going to start this challenge. And so until the evening hours, I pretty much indulged in scrolling as much as I wanted to, which was so smart. Like, I don't know what in my brain was like, yep, that's a good idea, Cameron. December 31st was basically my version of Mardi Gras. I basically indulged as much as I could in this, and like, I don't know why I thought that was smart. During day 1 through 3 though, the thing that I really noticed was kind of a sad habit of mine was I would keep reaching for my phone. Like I would literally just go and pick it up. Like, just all the time. I would pick it up and I would stare at it, which is really sad. Especially if an ad came on, like on something I was watching, or like even just if I got bored during a movie, I would pick up my phone and I was like, that's semi-problematic. I feel like that's not normal. And I just want to point out something, like my phone addiction at this point in time was where I couldn't even sit through like a 45-minute church service or like a 45-minute assembly. Like I couldn't do that. This was like honestly the height. Like this was so bad. I think there's very few times in my life it has been this bad. But like, you know, it's bad when you literally cannot even remember like one thing a pastor said at Sunday morning service. So that's when I was like, yeah, maybe I need to fix that. Day 4 through 7 was my coping period, as I call it. I was pretty much getting used to the fact that like, yeah, I'm not scrolling, and I was finding substitutes for that. So that's when I started playing Block Blast a lot and like watching YouTube videos, which maybe isn't the best substitute, but it's long form content, which is a little better. I still could barely sit through a movie. I think I watched like one movie in this period and I was like, yeah. I started finding running to be a big substitute. I'm doing 75 hard right now, and so I was looking for anything to, you know, like give me happy chemicals, and I think it's serotonin you get from running. But I started going for a lot of runs, and this was actually a big period where I saw a lot of progress, like, because after this too I continued running. Yeah, I was pretty much just finding substitutes and trying to cope with the temptation and like trying to leave my phone in a different room, which is really sad that I couldn't do that, but like that is a very big step for me, was being able to go watch a movie and leave my phone in my bedroom while I go watch the movie in the living room. Day 8 through 15 is what I would call my healing phase. This was when I was really coming to terms with the fact that like, this is okay. It's okay. Like, this really isn't that bad. I was still thinking about my phone quite a bit, and again, like I was just getting a lot better at coping with it, and I was starting to turn away from YouTube and away from Block Blast and becoming okay with literally just like sitting. That was pretty cool. I could fully finally watch a movie without even like having to like get up or do anything else, which is pretty cool. I also feel like this is when I started to notice a little bit of the benefits, maybe not fully coming to fruition, maybe at least a little bit. And then day 15 through 30 is what I'm just gonna call like when it gets easy. I mean, that's obviously 15 days is kind of a long time to like fit into that framework, because like day 15 versus day 30, like scrolling wasn't even a thought in my mind, except for the fact that I knew my challenge was over. I actually did 31 days technically because I did the whole month of January, but 30 days just sounded better, so that's what we get, 30 days. But I actually did 31. But like scrolling doesn't become like something I do when I'm tired. Like I don't think about it when I'm tired. When I'm tired, I thought about like maybe listening to a song and shutting my eyes, playing Block Blast, maybe. Or like just sitting there, or talking to a person when I'm tired. Like weirdly, that helped me out. I don't know. Just like putting my head on my desk for a little bit. You know, just coming up with different alternatives to when I'm tired instead of sitting on my phone. And maybe healthier alternatives too, because like Block Blast probably isn't the healthiest alternative compared to just being able to like let my body rest naturally for a minute. I also took a lot of stretch breaks. I think stretch breaks were really helpful with that. And so yeah, I think this is really when I started to reap the benefits of this challenge, like fully experiencing the benefits. So speaking of these benefits, like what did I notice? So mostly increased focus, much better time management, and honestly just feeling better in general, which was probably due to like a multitude of things. So everybody knows that short form content is bad for you and it decreases your focus, but like, I'm not even joking. I was so much more attentive in class. I could actually sit through a full movie. I know that's sad. I've said that like a lot, but like, it was a legit problem. And I'm such a film nerd. Like, I love movies, so the fact that I like couldn't even like lock in for a movie is crazy. And there's obviously like a bunch of smart people stuff about why that is. You know, if you want to geek out about that, have fun. But I'm not really going to talk about most of the studies and whatever in this, because I feel like we all know that's a fact. And if you don't know, you can go Google it. Yeah, everybody knows what the results are, but like, feeling them is different than hearing about them. That's a good way to put it. I knew that I would get better focus, and I knew that I would probably sleep better, and I knew that like I would probably just generally like feel better, but I like, feeling it is a whole nother level. And I cannot stress enough how much better my time management got. Like I said, I'm doing 75 hard at the same time, and 75 hard became 75 easy at this point, because like, I didn't have to battle out the time for my workout with the time on my phone. All of the things that were in my face suddenly became a little bit more organized. And there were almost times that I was like, huh, I got a lot of extra time on my hands right now. Would you look at that? It just made that so much easier. Like, so much easier. And like I said too, with like seeking runs as a good substitute for like scrolling, that also made 75 hard a lot easier, because instead of spending time inside, I was spending time not only outside, but outside on a run. Look at that. Also, I have like no scientific backing on if it makes your time management better. I mean, I'm sure it like can do something, but like, this is what I call, again, like Cameron science, because like, I don't actually know if that's true, but it definitely does feel like it. Also, like, my whole feeling better point was probably a result of just like what I chose to do instead of scrolling. Again, like, running gives you endorphins and serotonin and stuff like that. I think you get the point. Like, it was more what I did that made me feel better, but you know, like, I think it was because of not being on my phone that I did those things, and it made me feel better. If that made any sense at all. Long story short, it was completely beneficial. Like, there is nothing about this challenge that said like, hey, you shouldn't do this. The only reason that I could possibly think of why you wouldn't do this is because you don't want to. Like, you don't want to give up sitting on your phone. And I get that, because once this challenge was over, actually one of the first things I did was go back to scrolling. And I don't even know why. But I'm sure there's a bunch of science on like why we go back to doing destructive behaviors and whatever. It's because it like makes us feel safe or something. I don't know. I'm just a teenage girl. However, I did not re-download TikTok. I do still have all the other apps. So now when I scroll, it's on Instagram. And again, I have like my screen zen on it and my restriction and all of that. And I find the Instagram Reels algorithm is not as good as TikTok's. Like, it's not awful. It's definitely good, but like, it's not as good. It's not as addicting. Most of this challenge was honestly just sheer willpower of me saying like, no, the only barrier between me and some short form content was a 10-second little bypass on Screen Zen. And sometimes there wasn't even that, because I was on Instagram, like replying to my friends' DMs or something. You really do need to want this if you're going to do this. But I honestly cannot recommend anything more. I really truly cannot recommend doing any other challenge any more than this. This was so amazing, and I'm so glad I did it. So would I do it again? Yes. Should I do it again? Probably yes. Yeah, I really should. Should you do it? Yes, if you're willing. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Most of you who watch these videos aren't even subscribed, and like, guys, that's not very cash money of you. So you should low-key subscribe. Bye!